I do want to share this, and I don't think this is maybe always like talked about. Rentals are great for wealth building, but I would highly recommend that you still have active income. When I started this business, I just wanted to prove a point that you can be successful and have a very moral compass.
Welcome to the Kash and Dash Show, episode 318 with Darin Zuhlke. The crowd goes wild.
Okay, despite all that, Darin, you're, I think, the first person I've ever talked to in real life that has more or less a family commune. You were starting to tell us some details about what you have going on in Omaha with a family home purchase, which I find fascinating. And the more you started talking, I was like, wait, save it. This is good stuff. So,
sure.
What are we talking about here? You're from central Nebraska originally, is that right? Or
Northeast Nebraska.
Northeast, sorry.
So
Specifically?
Norfolk.
Okay.
And so now it's like an hour and a half because there's an expressway between Norfolk and Omaha. And so they've got the bulk of it finished. And so, yeah, it's about an hour 35.
Yep.
So.
And you spent a lot of time in Omaha. So you're from there, have a home there.
Yep.
But you come here a lot, and it led to you kind of like looking into purchasing something. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so for about the last 3 years, my wife and I have been looking for a house in Omaha that would suit someplace that we could stay at and then that my family could be there full time. It just didn't make any sense to me. We're in the housing business, and here's our family renting a townhouse for $2,500 a month. And now that they're established here in Omaha, they like their jobs. They're going to be here for a while. Instead of just letting all that money going towards rent, why not actually own a house together?
Yeah.
And then it's actually a place for us to stay. And instead of maybe being cramped in their townhouse, so now we've got, I don't know, to me, it's a large home. So, yeah. And families.
You have your own wing?
Yeah, right. So, yeah, the house actually had a balcony, but my wife did say that's gone now because, she's like, no, we need some privacy. So
He put us up those dividers, in
Right,
the house, like cubicles.
Yes.
Okay, so you had a really unique, if you don't mind sharing this, unique way of purchasing that, and kind of like how you structured it. Do you mind sharing that? Because it's really unique compared to anything I've heard.
Yeah, so big Pace Morby fan, and I'm actually in the Gator community. Thought about joining Sub 2. And so obviously, for years he's been, that's his community, is the Sub 2 community. So
real quick, for those tuning in that maybe aren't as familiar, can you give kind of a quick overview on what Sub 2 and Gator, what is that?
Yeah, so Sub 2, in my mind, it's creative finance, whether it's buying real estate or businesses. And then Gator, the reason I joined that helps build your business credit and then helps you get access to like 0% credit cards and business lines of credit. And
I wasn't expecting that at all.
Right.
I didn't know what that.
Right.
I didn't expect that was what Gator was.
Right. And so essentially it's either if you're like a high income earner, and then they call it Gator lending. So let's say somebody needs an EMD.
Earnest money deposit.
Yeah, this is at the very like basic or baby. I don't know if like they actually do this, but virtually they said the premise, and like let's say that somebody needs a $5,000 EMD for some reason, they don't have the $5,000, then you could actually lend the $5,000, but then just charge a flat fee of another $5,000, and so that's a very large.
Hang on, I'm making notes here on a new division of liquid lending.
Right, exactly.
$5,000 for a $5,000 loan?
Right. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Or like,
I'm no mathematician,
Yes.
but that seems very high.
Yeah. Or they talk about if somebody needs like bridge financing, such as like a contractor. Hey, I need to pay my guys. I'm waiting for. Let's say they've got a big job and the company's going to pay them. They know that they're going to get paid for this work, but they need the capital today. Mm-hmm. And so then you can lend to contractors that, maybe need $50,000, and then they're willing to pay another $10,000
for access to the cash right now because they need it.
Because maybe they've got like $120,000 in accounts receivable coming in that to keep their guys fed and keep everything moving, they're willing to pay that, and then just not have all the red tape and everything that the banks ask for.
You're already doing that.
Well, there's a term in commercial lending called factoring, which is basically you take a business that has purchase orders. So in this case, you've got contractors they get spread out because they're doing so many jobs and they have to front materials sometimes and pay their guys and all that. So they get behind. And if they have a big business, that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. So in the terms of like a more brick and mortar business, like manufacturing, say, maybe you have purchase orders for, let's say, $1 million. And you don't have the cash to purchase the goods from the supplier that you have to fulfill the contract that you have. Lenders will step in and typically offer you a percentage of your POs, your purchase orders, and they call that factoring. So basically, it's financing future income based on the contracts you already have. But you're usually going to get more like a 50% mark on that. So like if you have $1 million in purchase orders, you might get a line of credit for $500,000. So you can keep your business moving and the velocity of money going. But there's a cost to it. It's not 100% cost like it sounds like Gator lending is, which is wow, that's crazy. But in terms of people that are like, let's say you're in the wholesaling business and you have a bunch of contracts out there that you have to put earnest money down on.
Oh, there we go.
That might be another way where people would use Gator to basically keep that operation going, right? That's kind of the premise.
Yep, exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
So in regards to Pace Morby too, we've had him on the podcast.
Yes.
We interviewed him episode 100.
Yeah.
I am shocked on how low those ratings are on that episode because I truly think it was one of the best episodes we've done, and after listening to a ton of Pace Morby's podcasts,
it might just be market saturation. It's like he's
so
everywhere. Everywhere. He's omnipresent.
Right.
So,
but we did. Honestly, it was a phenomenal interview with things you don't normally hear about Pace.
Right.
And I was just listeners, go listen to episode 100. It is phenomenal if you want to know who Pace Morby is and what he's all about. Anyway.
Have you read his book, Wealth Without Cash? Highly recommend his book. So many nuggets from that. One of my favorite books.
Awesome. Well, okay. So, sorry, long preamble to your story. So, you're involved in that community. You kind of described what Subject 2 and Gator lending is.
Yes.
How does that come into your situation with this house?
So I joined Gator not necessarily to lend out to others, but maybe how I could get 0% financing for my own business. And then it played out really well because during that time, probably gained like between 0% credit cards and business lines of credit, like 200,000 and capital. And obviously as a business owner, having good working capital and access to capital, that's how you keep things going and keep things alive. So it was really great. Got like a $40,000 Chase card, and got a like 40,000 at Menards. And so, just,
Can you? Okay. Is there like a trick to that?
Yeah. So
can you share any of that, or is this do I have to pay $5,000?
No.
Today's
you'll lend it to me though.
Right.
You'll lend me the $5,000 and then I'll pay you $10,000 back. Okay.
Yeah. So essentially, it's meeting all the markers on your personal credit score. So I think you want to have like a 740 and above, like obviously closer to 800. The better. So you want all your cards below, I think it's 30% utilization. And this kind of stinks as real estate investors, especially if you're getting DSCR loans, like your credit could be pulled a lot. So getting those hard pulls off of there. So you got to have
it crushes you fast.
Yeah. Yep. So you do have to have a strong personal credit. And then what they do is then they help you build your business credit. So that's the two factors. At least that's what was when I took the courses with Gator. And so then I built up my business credit. And so they had you open up trade lines with 30 net businesses, and then those would report on your business credit. So,
I don't think we've ever really talked about this on the business building or business credit building on the pod before.
Yeah.
How do you find out the credit score of your business?
So I think it's
done
D&B,
Dun and Bradstreet.
Yeah. So mine's like an 84 or something. So that's considered excellent.
D&B?
Yeah. Dun
and Bradstreet. D and B.
Yeah.
And then you could just put your business name in there and find it?
I think you have to register with them and
just Google it. You'll get the idea once you kind of go through it. I looked into this years ago, but you know way more about it.
But let's say that like Verizon, they've pulled my business credit before. So
Now, okay, question though. So your business, we haven't really talked about that yet.
Yeah.
We to put a bow on the whole family commune
yes.
conversation.
Yes.
You took over a loan, it sounded
Yes,
like, and
right.
at a crazy low interest rate, which
Right.
was
3.1%.
3.1%.
Yep.
You basically split it to where your family members that you're sharing the commune with
Yes.
are in a trust. And I'm not going to get into
Yeah.
all of that,
Right,
but
right.
it's kind of a split based
Yes.
on usage and
Right.
who's footing the bill on the mortgage and all
Yeah,
that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
yeah.
so is that going right now? Like you
Yeah.
already have it, or this is in the works?
Yeah, that's going right now. We close at the end of March, and yeah, we're finishing up renovations right now, and they're going to move in here on the 18th.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
All right.
So
Well, I'm definitely curious about what the end result of this is. It
Yes.
sounds like a good plan on paper, but
Yes.
then it's like,
Yes.
man, are they ever going to leave? You know what I mean?
right,
Like,
right, and
you visit your relatives for a
Right.
while, and everything's great, and then you're
Right.
just kind of like, okay,
yeah, and
it's time.
And I will say this has been a thought out process. So
Well, obviously, you guys have a great relationship.
yes, yeah, I would say that my wife's family is not the norm. So we actually just got back from vacation, and my in-laws paid for the entire trip to the Virgin Islands, and we stayed at this beautiful, sprawling villa. And so it just really inspires me to live a legacy like they're living a legacy right now.
Or just stay married to your wife,
right.
and
Right.
reap the benefits.
right, yeah. Oh, no, I definitely, I'm on the winning end. She brings me up, so yeah.
Got
great.
it.
Yeah, so very grateful for
Ted also
yeah.
outkicked his coverage. So, please continue.
Yes.
My
So-
in-laws are also taking us on a vacation on tomorrow.
Yes, yeah. So I will say that, like my sister-in-law, that she owns 40% of it with us. She also was an investor with us, and we paid her back. And so it's like we already kind of had like a dating
Good, yeah.
period. And then also my in-laws that are going to be living there full-time together, they've already lived together for, a year or two, that they already know that they can live together. And then we actually even put it on the lease, like even like the rules, like if you cook something and the dishes have to be out of the sink within 24 hours or something, like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so your
Yeah.
in-laws are living there.
Yes.
Your wife's sister's living there.
Yes. Right.
And they're all okay with this. Like,
Yeah.
Like they're gonna live together permanently.
Yeah, but it's to me it's a massive house. I don't know if it's like 3,600 square feet on the main level, and then it's got an upstairs,
Whoa.
downstairs. The outside are my wife's family. I think there's 24 of them, and during Memorial Day weekend we hung out at the pool, and it was like everybody. I mean, the backyard's like an oasis. I mean, it's got a fountain and a sauna, and it's all surrounded by trees, and so
Ted loves pool parties. I don't know if he's mentioned.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he's ever mentioned that.
Yeah. And that's
ever mentioned that 20 times on the podcast.
and that's the bigger part. That's really the bigger part. So my wife and I, throughout investing in real estate full time, we've lived very frugally, and we actually just moved out of a condo that we were in for 2 years. And so now we're so excited to have this house in Omaha. We just moved to a new house in Norfolk. And so the bigger thing for us is it's like a sign of love to our family and to friends, that we can have them over and share that with them, have pool parties. And so that's the bigger.
That's the secret. I need
Yeah.
to tell my wife this is a sign of love to have a pool party.
Yeah.
So Jessica, you are going to be moving in with Mo and having a Kaasch family compound, the family home downtown. That's your incubator for
Yeah.
this.
What you're doing though is kind of like the Indian family culture.
Yes.
To be honest with you,
Or Hispanic.
I can't tell you how many
Yeah.
how many Indian clients I have, and they have their parents all living in the house with them.
Yeah. My wife's grandma is 102, and I just believe there's a lot of power and purpose. So she actually lives in an apartment with my in-laws, has lived there for years. And so when my wife was growing up, my wife learned how to cook and clean and do laundry, and my wife's grandma, taught her all these things. And so, yeah, I just think there's a lot of power in, having a family home that, everybody has a purpose and they can share life together. And sometimes, there's hard things, and then navigating and getting through those hard things as well. So it strengthens the relationship.
So your grandma's in the house.
So my grandma is in my in-laws' house in Norfolk.
I thought she moved into
Yeah.
into the.
Yep.
Is she moving into the big house?
No.
Okay.
No.
Hey, Grandma, you want to come play Call of Duty?
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
I thought you had the grandparents, the parents, and the brothers and sisters
Yeah.
in the house. So.
Yeah, again, this is a very large home. It has like a home gym, and so yeah. So,
Okay, I do have to ask a question. So, 102 years old. I had a great grandmother that was 103 before she passed, and I've got some longevity on my mom's side, and my dad's side not so much, especially the men. But what's her secret? So, if you ever see like clips of older people that are like, you know, over 100 years old, and they're like, I have a Dr. Pepper every day, or they're like smoking a cigarette or something like that, and you're like, how are you still alive?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because most people, get disease and all that. Does she have anything that she does every day as a routine? I'm just very curious about this.
Yeah, again, I think it's very important to have purpose. So, at least for me, and I would echo on my team, that we are so busy that we don't finish everything in a day. We already have things lined up for the next day, and we meet on a regular basis, and I share the vision as the company, what we should be working on. Everybody shares what they're currently working on, and then so to wake up in the morning and already know, hey, I need to do this, and this, I think there's a lot of power in purpose. And
My wife's going to live forever then.
yeah. Yeah. So
Taskmasters unite.
yes.
So is she? I mean, is she witty? Is she like 102? Is she like?
So she's so funny, and my wife is a comedian too, so it's so fun to see. Like, I think that she got that from her. But so she'll come in, and she'll still cook at 102. It's just crazy. I'll say that once in a while. She does try to pull things. I guess she was making chili and she put baked beans.
Beans, yeah.
So like bacon, and my one sister-in-law is extremely picky eater. And she's like, "What is this sweetness?"
Yeah, that's just, don't worry about that. My special recipe.
Right.
We mentioned numerous times that we interviewed my grandmother, and did kind of like a little time capsule interview.
Yeah.
That would be a phenomenal interview with somebody that's 102.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine the things they've seen in their life.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about this. You mentioned before we hit record that you've been a full-time real estate investor for 7 years now.
Yes.
Tell us the evolution there. So pre-real estate, what was your like, did you have a W-2? Did you have your own business? What was your jam?
Yeah. So my story is I grew up on the family farm, and then from a very young age, I would say, maybe there's this debate between, are you born an entrepreneur or like you trained to be an entrepreneur? Virtually all my family are entrepreneurs. So from a very young age, and maybe this is going
I think that's the clue right there.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe this is going a little bit too far into my story.
Go far back as you want.
But right around middle school age, I loved music. I loved technology. I don't know if you guys remember, like, I don't know if it's still in business, but like Stereo West.
I used to work
You
there.
there.
Oh, yes, I've heard that before. Yeah,
Did you install stereos for them?
No,
For
I did the sales.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the age that I think it was 13, I was already installing car stereos, and I thought it would be just the coolest thing to either be like the next Michael Dell or like open up a Best Buy or something that was like at least what was going through my head. And then I would say previously or even before, previously before that. So
I'm actually having a meeting with the owner of Stereo West right after this.
Oh, so he's still in business.
Yeah, well, it's a new owner, but it's Bashish Kaasch. And I'm having a meeting with them directly after this.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's that. What are the chances? Yeah. So, anyways, So before that, in the 90s, and I don't know if you guys experienced it, but like my family decided to buy like a home computer, and so obviously I don't.
Hewlett Packard with a 14.4 modem.
Yeah, so it was a Dell computer, and so it was a Windows 95 or Windows 98, and. So I think my dad was using a computer for his business, but I think that was maybe a DOS computer, and then he had like
It was a Tandy from Radio Shack.
Right.
That's a shout out to you, Bob Miller.
Right. So anyway, so we get
You're talking to an IBM guy here.
Oh, okay.
I worked for IBM for a few years.
Okay.
But also Radio Shack.
I missed that.
Radio Shack.
Anyway, please continue.
Which resistor can I buy, Mr. Dashner?
R.I.P. R.I.P. Radio Shack. We went off the rails there. Where were we?
Yeah, where were we? So anyways, so we get this family computer, and so at the time on the family farm, we'd buy these farms, and they would come with houses, and so I was always living.
Oh, you had a big operation then.
Yeah, so like the family operation, 20 plus farms. I mean, not all owned by us, but we had a lot of help and stuff, or my parents did.
Would you cash rent then from another farm owner and farm it, and then, or how did that work? Was that what you were describing?
So
here?
ours was a little bit unique. We were mainly livestock, hogs, and so. Yeah, I mean, we did have row crop, but that wasn't the main business was livestock.
You just grow them, or did you actually slaughter them?
No, just screw them.
We interviewed somebody who got deep in the whole slaughtering thing.
Wasn't that Jordan Downey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, we had a farm, and then he was like, and I did the slaughtering and the butchering and everything. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yes. right.
He's like, I still do it today.
That's
Go back
a
to the
whole.
family farm.
Yeah. There's different levels of that, and he was down in that level.
Yes. So, anyways, my parents buy this family computer, this Dell. They had like Dell really revolutionized. Computers were expensive, and I think they had this like $599 computer or $899 computer. And so I told my parents, we need to buy one of these computers. And so anyways, either the computer came with the software, or otherwise my parents purchased it because we were remodeling my parents were remodeling the house at the time. So it came with this 3D home architect software. And even though I was into like Nintendo and Nintendo 64, a lot of the times I was on there building homes on this 3D home architect. So I would build these I'd virtually kind of almost build like houses. So because I thought it'd be like
So this is like pre-Minecraft.
Yes, yes, right.
Oregon Trail days.
I mean, it was good. It was a good try on that joke. But
Yes.
anyway,
And then, so then our local newspaper.
you have died of dysentery.
Yeah, right. Yes.
My wife still does that in her social studies class.
I have a T-shirt that says "You have died of dysentery."
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
So,
sorry, Darren.
No.
We warned you.
No, right. Yeah. I got it. Yes. So here I was already building houses, or designing houses, I should say, on the 3D home architect, at the age of 10. And then our local newspaper, the Norfolk Daily News, would have House of the Week, and I was just so fascinated by these homes. I would cut out the house of each week, and before I knew it, I also collected coins, and so I had this sweet coin box. But then I would put these clippings of houses in there, and before I knew it, I had quite the stack. I don't know, probably had 40 of them.
Yeah.
And I would study them. And then I had a house that was like my favorite. And I was like, I'm going to build this house, someday. And then, so this was like in the third grade. So maybe I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. And so then we would have we had homecoming week. And then one of the days, it's like Spirit Week. So you do different things each day. And so the one was career day. And I came as an architect. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, and then.
But have you ever?
Yeah.
Fast forwarding.
Yes.
Have you built a home?
Yes.
You have? Okay.
Yes. 6 of them.
6?
Yeah. Yes.
Man, I'm learning so much about you
Yes.
today.
Yes. My wife has told me, because whatever God has for me, I just go and do it. It's not like I need to broadcast it, or I need to be better about it so I can help people. And that's where I'm very honored and grateful to be on the podcast today, because it's, who can I help, or who can I help?
Were you like 12 years old when you built that first home?
Yeah, no. But I did build my first computer. I think I was 13 years old, built my first computer.
See, you and Owen got this stuff in common.
Yeah. Right.
Did you get the parts from Radio Shack when he was working?
Right. Right.
Well, as he brought up before we hit record, he guessed that I was 13 years older than you.
Sounds about right.
So we didn't start off on a very good foot on this podcast. I still have a little angst towards Darin.
It's because I shaved off all the grays today.
So you had early designs on possibly being an architect, or
Right.
involved in
Yes.
home design of some
Yes.
type.
Yep.
And that led up to what you're doing now.
Virtually in high school, I took every business class that I could and technology class that I could take, and just was really interested in finance, business, entrepreneurship. Yeah, just really fascinated me. And then I went to college, got my degree at Northeast in Norfolk, which was an excellent experience. and I got my degree in business. And then when I was in college, it finally clicked in me. I only thought that you could take out like a 5 or 10-year mortgage, but then I found out that you could take a 30-year mortgage.
It's amazing what you don't know.
Yes.
Just give you a comparison. Like, I remember I thought I had to do all these sales jobs to be able to apply to be a realtor.
Oh, right. Yes.
Because I didn't know.
Right.
And it's the same type of thing. So I did, I did car audio sales, and I've done I've done home sales.
Yes.
And then I've done car sales. And I was like, you got to build yourself up. And then you can apply to be a realtor.
Right.
Same type of thing. You didn't know what you didn't know, right?
Yeah, exactly. So while I was in college, I think our rent was like $600 or $615 for a 2-bedroom apartment. And then I saw this house, this 4 or 5 bedroom house, nice home. I mean, not in the best neighborhood, but like a starter neighborhood. And I was like, oh, wait. You're saying, because some of these people were already doing, let's say that a parent would buy a house for their kids during college or buy it and then put in the kid's name as well. And I'm like, so you're saying that I could buy this house and then I could rent each one of these bedrooms to my buddies, and let's say $400 a month to them. Let's say I rented out 3 of them. That'd be $1,200 a month. I live in the one. And then my payment is only $600 to $800 a month, and I'm paying $615 or $600 to rent this 2-bedroom apartment right now. So that's when the wheel started spinning.
Okay, now quick question.
Even before there was house hack, before that was coined. So yeah.
Quick question on that. So this was obviously pre-Bigger Pockets and a lot of the resources that are available easily now.
Yes.
Where did you learn that little tidbit?
So at the time, I was doing an internship at Farm Bureau, my Farm Bureau Insurance, and so my uncle was going to be retiring. He had been with Farm Bureau over 40 years, and he said, "Hey, my sons aren't looking to take over this, but I can see that you're really interested in business and helping people." And so he said, "I want to do an internship for like the top agent at the time, or the top 3." He was there in Norfolk, and so during that time, I think maybe he had mentioned the 30-year mortgage, to me.
And you're like, what?
Yeah, what? Yeah. And then I think I just noticed there was, I had other friends that, either their parents bought them a house to live during college or, So, yeah. Yep.
Oh, that would have been nice, Mom and Dad.
Right.
The studio apartment that I lived in, but whatever.
Yeah.
There was one piece of advice my parents, and they didn't give me a ton of great advice in my younger years when it comes to business. The 2 things I got out of them was watching my mom try to start a mobile fingernail business when I went to her house. And that was like the first entrepreneurship I've ever seen.
Right.
So shout out to my mom for that. And then the other thing I remember, the other piece of good advice, which I did not take, and looking back, and I always think about this, was I was like 21 years old, and one of their good friends was moving out of this house in West Omaha, and they're like, you can buy this house, and it's only going to cost this much money. And I remember thinking, there's no way I'm going to own a house at this age, because it just wasn't in my mental capacity at the time.
Right.
And I think how stupid I was.
Yes.
And so it focused, I'm like, how could that have changed my life if I would have actually made that move?
Right.
And I know it would have been a very positive thing, because then I wouldn't have lived in this party apartment complex named Thomasville at the time. And I probably would have made a lot better decisions in life.
Right.
But how will you influence your 3 daughters to make the right decisions in business, knowing what you know now and how your parents have raised you and they gave you information? Like, you're successful, you're very intelligent, and you're very smart in business and numbers, and super successful in real estate. Like, what advice and how are you going to groom your daughters to be able to make the right decisions in business? Yeah.
So I'm very much try to lead by example.
Yeah.
And I would say my dad, he wasn't a very good communicator, but just his example, at times. And then my mom, let's say, so what I'm getting to is like what the example, try to take the good things that maybe my parents instilled in me. So like when I was a freshman in high school, my mom came to me and said, "We're not paying for your college. If you want to go to college, that's on you. So you better work hard." In high school. So that's what I did, and graduated top of my class, virtually had all my college paid for. And so I hope that I'm a good communicator to my daughters.
Okay, but you got money now. Like, you got real wealth. And are you going to say that same thing to your kids?
So
because I battle this crap in my head all the time.
Yeah.
Like, my wife, they told her, they're like, "Hey, we're going to pay you for your first 2 years of school."
Yeah.
And then anything beyond that, it's on your own.
Right.
So my wife packed her schedule and was a badass the first 2 years.
Right.
And then she ended up graduating in like 3 years.
Yes.
Because of that.
Yes.
You know, my parents wanted to help. They just financially were not there. They did what they could.
Right.
But because of that, I never finished.
Right.
You know, I think I still have like 12 or 18 credits left to finish college.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I tried to work, 40 plus hour jobs while doing 18 credit hours. It just didn't work. And I failed out.
Right.
And what in college, did your parents help you, Owen?
Yeah, I had a baseball scholarship my first 2 years, and they helped me out with like living expenses because, when I was off campus my second year, yeah, I got some help from my parents.
Your parents had money. I mean, they're successful farmers. They weren't loaded, but they
they weren't farmers. I mean, both my parents we had farm, but we weren't farmers.
So
per se.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's a difference. Like you get
Yeah,
it.
right. Yeah.
So how will you? I think this is a good conversation. How will you guys take care of your kids?
Let's say a real world example.
I want to know your example.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for your kids in college?
Yeah. I would say in today's day and age that for me, my girls don't have to take over my business. I want my girls to whatever they feel like God is leading them.
No. I'm talking about how are you going to pay for college? Are you offering to pay for college in full? What expectations are you going to put in front of them? Are you going to tell them the same thing your parents told you?
So people have asked me, what's the purpose or what are you going to do with all this real estate? And I say, well, if my kids are interested in it and they can prove that they're going to be good stewards of it, then I'd probably maybe own or finance the business.
I know, but that's not what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Your girls want to go to college.
Yep.
Are you going to pay for college in full? Are you going to tell them that they have to cover it themselves like your parents told you? Because these are conversations that my wife and I are having consistently right now.
Yeah.
Well, and your oldest is 10, right?
Yeah.
So you got. I mean,
Yeah.
But I'm not
Right.
too far. I'm 8 and 12. I'm
Yeah,
right there.
8 years away.
So
Yeah. That's a good.
you haven't had that conversation, huh?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm honestly shocked that you haven't.
I would say that I'll probably have my kids take responsibility for it because I think there's a lot of power in not giving too many handouts.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're going to tell them
Yeah.
it's on you.
Yeah.
Just like your parents did.
Yeah, like we're here to help out, but I
I love this conversation.
Yeah,
to be honest
so I really enjoyed Tony Robbins, and so obviously he shares, had a difficult upbringing, and at least what I take from him, he says it didn't happen to me; it happened for me, and so I believe. I mean, I had things growing up in my childhood that I don't wish on my worst enemy or a child that should not ever have to go through those things, but I believe the reason I am the person I am today and how strong I am, because you got to be one strong person to be a business owner, is because of those things. And so, and my wife, where she shared with me, she's like, well, I don't really have a story because I grew up in a loving family and a supportive, family. And so, yeah, I think there's always that balance, and I haven't figured it out yet, Ted, but I hope that I can speak up when I hear things from my daughter. So my oldest, we had company over the other evening. Tucker Pinion is one of my
great guy.
Yeah, great guy. And so he just moved to Columbus, and so now he's only.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So, oh man, you got to see his home. It's beautiful. So, anyways,
Tucker is a phenomenal person.
It is,
and what he has done, it is. I look up to him.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
He's 26 and I'm 39, and that's why I asked what your guys' gap.
13 years.
Yeah.
Just like me and Ted.
I mean, he's more successful than I am. And so I always encourage young people, don't let anybody ever judge you because of your age, because these young people with the information age we're in, I would say there's certain things that they know more than us.
They have more connections. Okay, I want to finish my thought though here. Like, what do you?
So-
wait. So you
Yeah.
You answered. You
Yep.
said you're gonna make the girls do their own
right.
thing. What are you doing with your girls? Are you covering their college? What are you doing?
Here's the thing. So when both were born, we got life insurance policies. So permanent life insurance policies on both of them. And I think it was like $250,000. Those accumulate basically cash value over time, right? So it accumulates tax free. You can make policy loans out of it. So that's one thing. Okay, so I'm mentioning this for a reason.
Yeah.
So there's whole life insurance or variable life insurance, depending on what era you were in when you do this. So we bought kids policies when they were born, and that cash value accumulates. So you basically build it up like equity in a home, right? And you can borrow that equity just like you can with a mortgage. So if you do a refi, you can pull money out just like that's how cash value life insurance works. So that is a bucket that can be drawn upon. We started 529 plans when both kids were born. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So 529 plans, basically it's an education savings plan, and you have to basically use there's qualifying expenses for it. We're not going to get into that. I'm not a CPA or anybody you should listen to about this. This is what we do. So that money isn't enough to pay, because here's the deal. Here's the rub. When you start all this planning for your kids' education, this is a mistake. I did a stint as a financial planner. I know you mentioned you were kind of in that business too.
Right.
The biggest mistake that people that are in their 40s and 50s make is they want to set up everything for their kids before themselves. So the question I always asked was, if your kids have no financial assistance available to them. So whether you don't have the money, you have no scholarship, you don't have a savings plan set up, what are their options? And you'll see them think about it. And they'll say, well, they could get a job. They could take, 12 credit hours, 14 credit hours, something like that. Bartend, wait tables, work at a golf course.
That's what I did.
Right?
Yeah.
So they could do work to provide education funding for themselves, right? That is an option. What is your option if you're 70 years old and you don't have enough for retirement? Do you have an option?
Right.
You got to keep working.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
That's your
Yes.
only
Right.
option.
Yes.
So when you have an 18-year-old that is of the age where they're maybe going to college, maybe they're not. That's the other rub with setting up a 529 plan. You put all that money earmarked for, traditional college education. What if they decide they want to go a different route? They want to just start working. Maybe that they're like, I don't like school. I'm not good at it. I'm really good at a trade, or I'm really good at, maybe they want to go that route. All that money now is taxable, right? And maybe there's some provisions that I was just having a conversation on Tuesday this week about 529 plans. This is kind of weird we're talking about it. But I think there's been some recent provisions that have changed where 529 taxation is treated more like a Roth IRA. And I think you might be able to convert some of that. Do not quote me on this. I am not a licensed anything. So
Anymore.
Yeah. But anyway, so to answer your question directly, Ted, are we going to foot the entire bill for them? The expectation for us is that they are going to work their butt off in school to get good enough grades to where they're at least going to be able to get a partial academic scholarship. Yeah. And my oldest and youngest are different in what they want to pursue. So my youngest she may get a sports scholarship. I don't know. That's a possibility. Are we going to pay for the whole thing? No. Are we going to help them? Yes.
Yeah,
I can tell you.
Yes.
I remember, but here's the power of what we do for a living. There is real power in having real estate that you can basically allow your family to, like, you're talking about keep calling it the family commune. I know that's probably not a fair tagline to put on it, but if I have real estate and my kids are going to go to school around me, and that is a big question mark, because you have no idea. You're raising you have a 10-year-old, right? That's your oldest. Yep. Maybe she's going to grow up and say, you know what, I want to go to Europe.
Right.
Like, I'm out.
Right.
I'm going to go I want to go to music school in Oxford or wherever.
Yep.
You don't know any of those things. There's huge question marks. So if you're earmarking, you're like, we're going to pay for their whole thing. I think personally that's a mistake.
Yeah.
So I think you do have to kind of work your way through the process, and you're going to appreciate your own success a lot more and set them up for being able to self-sustain instead of having a handout.
Yes.
So I don't want, I guess that's I don't know if that's the right answer. Yeah. There's no playbook for this.
Right.
Because it's so complicated.
Yeah, exactly.
Every kid has different goals. Every parent has different viewpoint that they're taking from. Maybe it was how they were raised, like Jessica just slugged it out and finished in 3 years. That's not for everybody.
I think it's how your parents do it, and if you were successful at it, then you feel that that's a win. Right?
Yeah.
Because my wife is like, hey, my parents paid for the first 2 years, and it worked really well for me, and I want to be able to provide 100% for the first 2 years.
Well, here's the thing, and you're going to get, these are hot takes, right? So I think there's different schools of thought on it, and if you start off, behind the 8 ball when you have $100,000-$200,000 of crushing student debt that as soon as you graduate you're on the hook for, and you also have to buy a house or figure out where you're going to live and pay through the nose. Nowadays, with how interest rates have gone up and the price of any hard asset has gone up, including real estate, I mean, I don't know how I would do it. If I'd have to, be roommates with people. I'd have to house hack. I want to educate them to the point where they have the tools available to make the choices they need to figure it out. But I don't want to give them all the playbook and say, hey, here's how you do it. Here's easy street and whatever. So I think there's nuance. It's nuanced and they change over time.
But we mentioned Tucker Pinion. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, and I think that we'd all agree to this statement. If we all knew what we knew now and started into college today, we probably would have done Tucker Pinion and bought a house, put a whole bunch of roommates in there, pay for that damn house.
100%.
Right.
Because that is the smartest thing you could do.
Right.
Like, oh my God, when we're listening to that podcast, I was like, I am such an idiot.
Right. Well, what I've experienced is the power of compound interest. So when I started the business, it seemed like I remember I called a mentor. He grew up in a real estate family, managed 600 units. And I said, when I got started, I was like, I'm kind of bored right now. Should I go get a job? He's like, no, you need to stay focused on this because what you focus on, that's what will grow. And he's like, you'll look back at this day and be so grateful you had this time to, in the middle of the day, to go for a walk or ride your bike or what have you. And then fast forward, I'm like, you're right, because now I'm so busy doing this. And then it's also exciting, the power of compound interest. Now it's so exciting that starting small and now it's
a snowball effect.
It's a snowball effect in a good way. So, I mean, now, I still buy, $150,000 homes and stuff like that. But it's now, if I want to buy $500,000 or $1 million, and I've done that throughout my career, that, you could have $6 million or $8 million in real estate in some phase, like either on the acquisition or the remodel phase or the disposition. And it really compounds. And then obviously then the wealthy, then the larger assets that you acquire, then with that principal pay down, then that's just even more powerful. If your payment is $15,000 a month on a property and like $4,000 or $6,000 a month is going towards principal, you do that for 5 or 10 years. If you either need some cash, you can either sell that asset or do a refinance. And so it's just, it's the power of being patient and putting in the work. So
to put a bow on the real estate and kids graduating going to college, graduating from college, like the whole financial aspect of it. The thing about real estate is like it's highly location dependent, right? Yeah. So you're like, I'm going to make this investment in my kid's future, and I'm buying it in, Norfolk or Omaha. Yep. And then your kid's like, sweet, I'm going to Penn State or what, you know what I mean? Right. They're like, peace out. Nice fourplex.
Yes.
You have there.
Yes.
Good luck renting that out.
Right.
So like you can plan, what is the saying? Man plans, God laughs.
Right. Yes.
So there's only so much you can do with that. But the problem is you have to prepare them with the tools they need for them to be able to figure it out on their own. Right. But not get in under such financial stress that they can't function. And that's my biggest worry all the time. It's a push-pull thing. Right. So you want to make it easy enough to where they're not going to crazy struggle, but you want them to struggle a little bit so they can figure out their own self-worth and the way they can, make things happen on their own without relying on somebody else.
I don't think you could put that any better because they need to feel some pain.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because if you give it to them, then it's like every single rich kid out there that that you make fun of.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, he's just a rich kid. He doesn't know.
What is like the proverb? Like a man has to be like patient and wealthy, so then God like gave him like all these things to test his patience.
Oh yeah,
I told my kid. I told my kid the other day. He's literally going on. And he's like, oh, I want these shoes. And I was so frustrated because he had a nice pair of Air Force Ones. He's got basketball shoes. He's got football shoes. And I looked at him and I'm like, Carson, do you understand how good you got it? I'm like, I literally had I remember the only time I would get shoes is because my toes were flopping out because they were completely disconnected in the front. And I remember my mom shoplifting shoes. And I remember her getting busted once too, and then getting so excited that we got new shoes and then she's like, "Throw them out the window." We threw them out on Dodge Street because I got new shoes finally.
Yeah,
because we didn't have shit.
Right.
And I'm trying to explain to my kids how lucky they have it.
Right.
But they have no clue.
Right.
And they'll never know that feeling.
Right.
Of need versus want.
Yeah.
Like I needed shoes. I didn't want shoes.
Right.
And it's a weird conversation.
That's so cool that you shared that Ted, because something that just randomly popped into my head this week when I was like in the 3rd or 4th grade. So at least when my parents were starting the farm, my parents were very frugal. And I remember, hand-me-down clothes and going to Goodwill and Salvation Army to get clothes. And I remember in like the 3rd or 4th grade, I mean, kids will be kids. And I remember, one kid said, "Oh, yeah, you're that poor person. Look at your jeans. They're dirty and they got holes in them. They're too short." And so I came home and told my mom, I guess like maybe it fazed me a little bit, but not like a whole lot. But yeah, I did feel kind of embarrassed. And so then she went to Walmart, and this was like right around 2000. So then the baggy jeans and maybe so they had these like stripes on the side. And so my mom bought 2 pairs, and then I just rotated those pairs, And so
I dealt with that too, because I remember in middle school, like we transferred to one of the wealthiest schools at the time in Omaha. It was Westside Middle School, and we're coming from nothing. We're a South Omaha kid, and we're transferring in, and I just remember not fitting in and having these crappy, who knows where they came from, but shorts and everything. And everybody just make fun of me, and I was just like, and I didn't understand it because these were like my new clothes, but they just were not the Tommy Hilfiger, and all the name brand stuff.
Yes.
And I just remember having such a hard time in middle school, and it was the worst 2 years of my life.
Right.
And the same thing too. I remember like the first time in high school that I got, and it was like I got some name brand clothing, and then all of a sudden some people started making comments about it.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, so if I had, now nobody's making fun of me finally, And I remember that moment of change. And I know it's weird to talk about, but it was like, it literally was going from being made fun of to being complimented. And you're like, and then that, like, oh my God, now. So then I started working. How can I make money?
Right.
In the middle school, we talked about this. I started slinging candy in little baggies because I worked a deal out with the local gas station to start buying these little flavored Tootsie Rolls, pre-bagged them 25 on there, charge everybody 50 cents. I'd make a 25 cents on every baggie. And then
by the way, Tootsie Rolls are the worst candy ever invented.
They're footsies. They're footsie. They call them footsies. They're like Tootsie Rolls, but they're like flavored. They're called footsies.
I got nothing, man.
Anyway, so and then I got in so much trouble.
I'm just saying, you could sell better candy. You probably make better margins. Like blue meth on Breaking Bad. Okay, so we've talked about blue meth. We've talked about saving for college for our kids.
Yes.
And but we haven't really talked about your real estate. So you mentioned you're 7 years full-time into this business.
Correct.
You've alluded to having business partners, possibly a detective being a business partner. Let's peek behind the curtain here on the Zulki empire. What are you doing now?
Yeah, so we currently have 126 units under ownership.
Okay.
And that's just my wife and I, except for we do have 22 of those units are townhomes in Lincoln. That's the only partnership that we have. We do work with investors, but just debt investors, private money.
Private money.
Private money, yeah. Yep. And we'll see here where we end out here in May, but we're hovering right around that 20 million in assets under ownership.
And of that, of the properties that you have, 126 units, is that mostly apartments, or do you have single family, office? And like what's the mix of your asset classes?
So like I said, I grew up on the farm, so I was already used to hard work, working 80-hour work weeks, working 6-7 days a week, and already used to large numbers. And so when I started out in multifamily. That just made more sense to me, was more appealing to me. Hey, if you have one person move out, you've got all these other people,
still paying the bill.
Yeah, still paying the bill. Yep. And so then as my journey went along, the few single families that we did have, I'm like, man, I've got A-class tenants in these residents, and they just stay forever, and they're cash flowing. I mean, I will say, I do want to share this, and I don't think this is maybe always like talked about. Rentals are great for wealth building, but I would highly recommend that you still have active income. I think when we all got started, maybe that was like fantasized or told to us, hey, you can just live off of rental properties. And I have seen that, maybe somebody who started in the early 2000s or maybe even the 90s that are more in their senior level.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and then even people that have decided to retire, they've said that they kept their W-2 and they were glad that they had their W-2 because sometimes the W-2 funded the rentals. But now they're like, stay with it. It's worth it because let's say one example, we bought 4 condos. Well, they bought that in like 2010 for 250,000, and then they sold it to us for 750. Yeah, so so they just said there's power in that wealth building. So so currently right now we've got a mixture of, we're doing flips, and then we're exploring the rent to own or wrap model.
Selling on a wrap or rent to own.
Yep. I don't have it completely down, so I am taking a little bit of pause in my business, because to me it's being a good steward of our business, and then also the people that you're serving, the tenant buyers, hey, make sure that we've got everything structured correctly, that there's protections on both ends. And so
like they have to clean the sink every week, right?
Right, yes.
Okay, got it.
Right, yes, yeah,
Well,
exactly.
You mentioned living off the rentals. I think that's truly feasible if you're doing like a debt snowball.
Oh, yes.
If you're taking all the profits and you're starting to pay off rental properties, if you truly want to live off it, I think that's the only way you can really pull that off. Because once you start paying some properties off,
yes, then
you truly have some income coming
in.
And
right.
You can look at the portfolio a little differently. But if you're living 100% off loans,
right,
and you're only making $100 to $400 per property per month, and we all know that once a week you're going to have a huge bill, especially as your portfolio grows.
Yes,
and both you guys are probably dealing with this at this point, that it's just really hard.
Right,
but if you truly are paying some stuff off, you can pull that off. In my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Well, I think you have to get started immediately when your lifestyle expenses are crazy low, right? Yep. They're the lowest they're ever going to be when you graduate from college. They're only going up. So if you get into something, you can get a cash flowing rental and maybe kind of snowball effect that. That's the way. But I would agree with what you're saying in that I don't view my rental income. I just view it as a net zero.
Yes.
So I don't view that as spendable income because it always goes to CapEx eventually.
Yes. Right.
And there's people that are much better at than maybe I am or we are or other people are, that set aside an X amount for CapEx every single month for future, roof replacement, siding, whatever it is, right? Because they know that's coming. Or you can also get a line of credit that basically is a backstop for your CapEx, expenses that you don't plan for.
Right.
So there's different ways to slice it, but I would agree with you in that it makes sense to have active income and then use rental properties as passive income wealth builders.
Yes.
Because I look at it like this, and I'm curious your take on this, Darin, but every property I buy, I looked at, and this is, I'm 51 now, or maybe 61 as you seem to categorize me as, but I'm a little long in the tooth in this business apparently, but I think if you anything you do today, you're doing your 10-year from now self a huge favor.
Exactly.
And so I look back at the moves I made when it was when I was getting started in 2005, 6, 7, 8 during that GFC era. And I bought a whole bunch of foreclosures, and I'm like, my God, thank you so much, past Owen, for making those stupid moves that you made, because they really pay off.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have...
And holding them.
Yeah, and holding them. And that's the discipline you have to have, because, and we had Brandon Tauber, my business partner in Red Ladder, and we owned some rentals together, but we've flipped a lot of houses together, right? So we're used to active income, dumping some of that into rentals and doing a BRRRR strategy. And Brandon was a trader for a long time. A trader meaning not like he
hate those traders.
Yeah, not against our country. I mean an active Wall Street trader.
Yeah.
He did that for a number of years, but he was always like the quick rip kind of a mentality. And I totally get that. And I have some of that also, but he gets frustrated sometimes with rentals and is just like, well, we're not making any money on this. Why don't we just sell it and we can do other stuff with it? And I'm like, you got to give it time, let leverage and, principal pay down and tax benefits and all that thing take effect. I'm not saying he doesn't know that. He definitely knows that.
He trusted your wisdom.
Well, yeah, I will tell you from experience, being in this 20 years now, it is such a snowball effect. The older and older you get, and more experience you get in this business, the moves you made early on start paying so many dividends. The compound interest is a real thing.
Yes.
And especially when you apply leverage to it and you manage it smart and do all those things.
Yep.
So 126 units, that didn't happen all at once, I would assume. You've had a few purchases, tried some different things, brought in a business partner. Was that right away or eventually?
Yeah. So since 2022, we hovered right around 100 units from 22 to 25. And then that last year was actually started marketing. you know.
Okay.
And, yeah, instead of just maybe cold calling a multifamily owner and actually marketing to like single family owners.
Like doing postcards?
Yeah, postcards. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
We just did a whole postcard event with the REI Simply
Yes.
last 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they've reached out to me several times. I haven't jumped the gun with them, but yeah.
We get big discounts with them if you want to use them in the future. So
Cool. Awesome.
Okay, so marketing for deals. What
Yep.
what is that like? How do you organize your business in a
Yep.
way where somebody's got to answer the phone?
Yes.
Somebody has to go on an appointment.
Yep.
Somebody has to negotiate with the sellers, handle
Yes.
the back office stuff.
Yep.
Who does what?
Yep. So I've got a full-time salesperson, and so he takes all the calls, meets with the sellers, and brings the deals to me. Hey, what are we going to do on this one? And are we going to offer on this one? And then he brings the offer. And
Why did you? I'm curious why you ended up hiring a salesperson as opposed to going on appointments yourself. Is that you aren't great at it, knowing yourself and how you like to operate, or you're like, I'm so busy that I need somebody to fill this seat, and like maybe talk through that. Like, did you try it yourself first and then hired somebody?
Yeah. So years ago, I read a book. I think it's called Builders or Born to Build. It's by Gallup, and I believe Gallup's based out of Omaha, or at least the Gallup polls. And so read the book and then did the test. And so my top, I think I'm like classified as a rainmaker. So I think it's visionary, delegator, risk, and I think that was my top skills. And so anyways, so last year I decided to start marketing, and then I handled all the sales, but I'm spread too thin. I mean, because we manage our own units as well, and so So I did start out that way, but what happened was for years I didn't really take care of myself first. I would just kind of like let life happen.
what do you mean by that?
So I would just kind of start the day like, I mean, I did have purpose, but I was not intentional about taking care of myself first thing in the morning. So for me,
Like your miracle morning routine?
yeah, miracle morning. So so right away in the morning I do my devotion, and then I go work out, and then I start my day. I'm not always perfect at that, but I would say that I got in a place of isolation. Especially we have a meetup group in Norfolk, and we stopped that, and then I volunteered for years with the youth at our church, and then I stopped that. And I think as a man and a business owner, sometimes we think we have to just like tough it out and brand it, and I just let the enemy talk to me and say nobody can relate to you, you just need to like figure this out on your own, you're weak if you ask for help. And so it kind of got to really a dark place. And then especially, I remember when we finally got the postcards going, I think we had, let's say, 14 calls in 2 weeks. And then I was moving offices and then trying to handle all the maintenance requests at that time. And it was just too much. And I was missing calls and missing leads. And
So what do you mean exactly by a dark place?
I mean, so one of my favorite books, everybody knows Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
But he also has another book, Outwitting the Devil.
I've never heard of that one.
Right? So he actually wrote the book in like 1936, and his wife said, you can't publish this. This will end your career. And then it actually was not even released, I believe, until the 80s, like his son.
Oh, okay. So they kind of held it like your first podcast you did in digital jail, but it was pre-digital, it was analog jail, and then released it eventually.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the premises of the book is called drifting. They talk like what he does in the book. Napoleon Hill interviews the devil, and so virtually the premise of the book: if the devil can get you just to drift through life, like not have a purpose, then he's won. And so that's really what happened to me. I felt like I was just kind of going through the motions, just drifting. And then also, I would just deal with like anxiety and just a whole bunch of things that I don't think that's always talked about. It's very difficult to be a business owner, and there's a lot of power and there's a lot of strength in reaching out for help. So what our business looks like now, we've got 2 property managers, a controller, a salesperson, I've got close friends that we talk to on a regular basis. I'm very intentional about doing the meetups. And so that's what I would encourage people. Yeah, there is times to pause and make sure you're doing the work behind the scenes when nobody's looking, but make sure that you're taking care of yourself and you've got a good community.
Yeah, 1938 book. It was very controversial, but it wasn't published until 2011.
Oh, 2011.
Yeah. A fictional interview with the devil to explore the greatest obstacles to success, such as fear, procrastination, jealousy, and offers 7 principles to overcome them, including defining the purpose of self-mastery and learning adversity. Might be a good one to read.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll put that on my list.
So anyway, so last year I completely drifted from several, like my core beliefs, my ethos. And so finally last November I said enough is enough. And I already was starting to put things into place, but really like last November I was like enough is enough and then reached out for help.
So,
okay, well,
but I want to focus real quick.
Yep.
So out of this, besides bringing people in your business, you refocused on church, it sounds like?
Yeah, so then in November, what I did is, again, I'm very grateful for my friendship and very grateful for Tucker. So he'd been telling me for a long time, Darin, you need to get a mindset coach. My mindset coach has absolutely changed my life. And
I have a mindset coach. I love it.
yeah, and we know that Brandon Turner, I mean, obviously his mindset coach really helped him. And so
That's who I hired for years. And then he referred me to a female to do a whole different type of coaching.
yeah, and I would liken what I tell people, it's like a counselor on steroids. I mean, yeah.
I feel like I told her too. I asked her, I was like, you seem more like a counselor than you do a coach. And she's like,
Yes.
well, she's like, I actually was a counselor to children back in the day, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because we're all children, I guess. And
Yes.
but so you found yourself back into church.
Yep.
You found a new coach.
Yep, and then
You found your purpose.
Yep. Hired a personal trainer, and then that was great because
I thought you were a little extra buff coming in.
Thanks. Yeah.
Stepping on Owen here right now and his buff skills.
Well, thank you.
Ted, I'm 61. Give me a break.
So
you got something to look forward to.
yeah. And then through the mindset coach, like I said, it was like a counselor on steroids. So then really said, hey, I've really drifted away from my core beliefs and who I am like as a person. And then even he helped me navigate, hey, I want to strengthen my marriage. And like he would say, right after this meeting, this is what you need to go do. And so then that was nice. Then my wife and I have worked on our marriage as well, went back to counseling. And so long story short, make sure you're not doing life alone. Don't let the enemy like get in your head. Oh, you just need to isolate yourself and buckle down and figure it out. And
I think that's important to discuss because there's so often that we get, we focus on our businesses. And when you get into this industry, you start having multiple businesses. You have ancillary businesses. I mean, I know, Owen, you got probably, 25 LLCs?
It's
a lot.
It's not that, but it's up there.
You got a lot.
It's enough to be frustrating around tax time. That's for sure.
Right.
You're blessed in the fact that you have great business partners surrounding you in all your businesses.
Absolutely.
Versus doing it on your own, and what the problem is that we keep on juggling all this stuff,
right?
And then and then you're like, oh, I also need to be a great dad and a role model. I also need to focus on my purpose, whatever your purpose is.
Yes.
And having a coach, I really do think it helps you. I know that it's been a long time we talked about it, but you used to focus on some really close friends like Brad Bader to kind of do that person to bounce off and coach with you.
Yeah, sometimes if you're maybe, I don't know, if you're at the top, if you're the owner or CEO, who does the owner and CEO go to?
Right. Yep. Yeah, it's lonely. That's I think probably one of the biggest challenges about being a business owner is just like you don't have a boss you can talk to. You don't have, and you also don't want to burden your spouse with a lot of your own problems.
That's what my wife was like, hey, I'm your person, but I can't be your person for everything.
It's bad to go to your spouse unless you have that type of relationship and talk about your business stuff.
Yes.
It doesn't work.
Right.
There's some rarities out there, don't get me wrong, and we know them, we've interviewed them, that their partner and everything.
Yeah.
But like most of us, we're out on an island by ourselves a lot of times.
Right.
The thing that sucks too is like, there's guilt layered on guilt a lot of times with this because you feel guilty if you're taking care of yourself because you could be working, right? Like, oh man, I'm relaxing right now. I should be out making moves, and
it's hard to turn it off.
Yeah, it is. And then you get to a point where you have burnout, and then you kind of
burnout.
Coast. And I don't know if that's what you went through at all, but you kind of have that coasting period where you're like, you just can't catch traction.
Right.
But you don't want to like unload on your spouse and then have them be freaked out and worried, because I would say like, and this is, everybody's different, but women are much better about being empathetic about things. So they take on a lot of emotional, trauma that you're going through. So if you unload on them about the day to day that you're going through and stuff you're stressed out about, then they're stressed out about it. And you don't want to do that to them. So you don't share. Right. And then because of that, then you all of a sudden unload, or maybe you lash out in a different way. Right. Or you're not the best, husband or dad or person you could be. Yeah. And it's a constant push pull. So I don't know what the right answer is, but it's good you went and sought out, somebody to kind of like be a guiding light for improving. Yes. And so kudos to you for that. And taking on a business partner is a whole other animal, right? And Ted and I have always promoted Tucker whenever anybody's asked us about him, because we loved our interview with him, and
we're impressed.
Yeah, he came. He spoke at our RIA Mastery series, and he had never done anything like that before, and he kicked ass. Yeah. So talk about that for a minute. Like when you're walking the fine line, the thin red line of oversharing with your spouse. Yeah. And not wanting to traumatize them with your own stuff. Yes. But also sharing enough to where you can help yourself by not bottling everything up and running the risk of just total burnout or exploding on somebody or whatever. Like, any tips on that? Like, how do you guys navigate that?
So a couple examples. My mindset coach, I gave him all my goals, and at least my mindset coach helps you get where you want to go. And he's like, Darin, you got too much going on. You need to eliminate one thing in your life. So I actually eliminated social media, I think, for 30 or 40 days. I would have it on my computer, but deleted everything.
That's crazy, though, when you have a networking group, because you are hosting your own RIA in your town. Yeah. And that is, the social media is the lifeblood of those groups, in my opinion. Yeah. Do you not agree with that?
Yeah. So I'm back on social media, but then also to finish where I was going is what we've learned and what we've got help. You have to be intentional about, is it 30 minutes at the end of the day? You guys both put your phones aside and really connect. Because you've seen the photo before. The husband and wife are in the bed. They're apart from each other and both on
their phones.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And so, whether it's at night, the 30 minutes, or in the morning, and then also being brutally honest with each other, even if you don't have everything figured out. And this relates to
with your spouse.
Yeah, with your spouse.
Oh man, I don't 100% agree with that, but no, because this is my opinion, but if I put all my stresses on my wife, and if I'm being brutally honest, then that stresses her the hell out. And she doesn't want that stress. Yeah. She's got her own stresses in her life and what she's running, and we're all different, but in regards to my relationship, if I'm putting my stress on my wife, it stresses her out, and which affects our relationship, because she can't handle the type of stresses that I'm taking on. And so there has to be that's the give take in ours. Right. But I do agree with the electronics. I for so long I would come home, and I don't do this today, but I would put my phone and my watch and everything, I would leave it on. Yeah. But I'm self-managing a lot of my stuff now. I can't do that. Yeah. But what I do is at the dinner table, because we do dinner every single night together. Yeah. There's no electronics at the dinner table.
That's awesome.
We have that rule too.
So, but we also eat dinner together every single night.
We do that too.
It's been like that since day one. It isn't something we try. That's just something we do as a family. Right. And we have great talks as a family. That's when we're communicating. We're talking. We always talk about our highs and our lows, and we talk about what we're grateful for. These are just the conversations we have, and it just becomes our thing. But I really wish that I could say I'm completely disconnected. And I did it for a solid year, where I put my phone, I talked about a podcast back in the day, and I put everything out there, and I would not connect until the kids were in bed. Yeah. But I can't, it's just when you're running Airbnbs, and you can't do that.
Well, you got booted off Facebook for a while, so you had a little bit of a forced, hiatus.
It helped with that disconnection, but it also hurt my networking group.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned in passing, I think we were off air when you mentioned this, but you said you have a business partner who happened to call you when we were taking a break that is a 25-year detective. What does that guy do? Is he a leg breaker?
Yeah, right. And I just want to clarify, the only business partner that I have is my wife, and we do have 22 townhomes, and we have 4 partners, and that's the only partnerships I have.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misspoke there.
Yeah, not that I'm opposed to partnerships, but anyways. Yeah,
Less people to report to when you don't have partners.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And so, an employee, and it's just really, for me, it lights me up when not like, this job is so rewarding because not only do we get to provide housing, but all the employment that we get to provide. Mm-hmm. And so this is just a really cool story. He was a detective for 25 years and just burnt out from it. I mean, you can only take so much, SA case or abuse case, and
taking pictures of cheating spouses and sorry.
I think that's a PI, not a detective. I don't think you hire a detective.
I've been watching too much Spider Noir on Amazon.
So it just worked out really well. Somebody else that I recommend, hopefully you can get him on the podcast, is Colton Plackey. He's really helped me out as well, and just he's young as well, and it's just amazing how much he knows. But he worked for me for a little bit, or we worked together, and I just said, hey, I need somebody full time that's just dedicated to our business. And then it was just really cool. Lou's his name that works for us. Again, I'm a person of faith, and it's really awesome how God works. And so he's always been a person when I've came to church that both of us, and especially him, he's been able to tell me really what's going on in life. And I really appreciate that about our church. That it isn't like a bunch of healed people, it's like people that are really trying to do life together. And he just said, hey, I'm looking for a career change. And so I was like, okay, well, if you were going to do a career change, what would it be? And he's like, well, actually, I want to get into sales. And I was like, well,
matter of fact.
And so, so brought him on, and it was just entertaining because he's like, Darin, are you going to have enough to keep me busy? And then he gets into it, and he's getting calls after call.
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
So then it's really lit him up. It's so impactful to lives that we get to impact, because there are retail buyers, and there's properties that are made to go through realtors, but there are other, obviously there's multiple instances where, it's just nice to sell owner to owner and help somebody out, whatever their situation may be.
It's awesome when you listen to people like that. And Colton, shout out to him. He's sent me properties, I think 2 properties in the last 2 weeks.
Yes. And, he's a beast.
And they're both in Louisville. He's like, I know you got the car wash there. You might be interested in these 2 proproperties I have. One of them, I'm like, hey, I want to go walk that right now. And then he's like, oh man, I already sold it.
Right? Yes.
Like, dang it.
Yes. So you have basically the 25-year detective, he's your sales manager, more or less, right? Correct. So he goes out, you get phone calls in as a response to your direct mail and other marketing efforts.
Yes. Right.
He takes the calls.
Yes.
And he goes out on appointments.
Yes.
He gets stuff under contract, or at least runs it by you before he gets it under contract. And then, is your wife involved in the business?
Yeah, so she wants to get more involved. We do have 2 properties that we might try furnished finders on, which that's why I reached out to you, Ted.
We did actually, Jeff. That podcast we did is on, our top 5 all-time highest feed podcasts we've ever had.
Oh, Jeff Hurst. Yeah, it was really good.
Phenomenal.
Was he? I forget.
He was the CEO.
I really enjoyed that one.
So
So the calls come in, you get leads, he works the leads, you make decisions. How much volume are you guys doing? What does marketing spend look like? What are you getting out of it?
So last year we bought and sold 24 properties. That was when it was just me.
Yeah.
And then his goal is he would like to do at minimum 5 acquisitions, and we also, like I said, do the owner finance. So a combination of acquisition and the disposition, at least 5. And so that's the goal per month.
So you get active income from your flipping business, your acquisition business,
Correct.
and some of those you peel off, keep as rentals,
right?
And then you're always on the hunt for multifamily properties. It sounds like.
So at least where I feel like God has me right now is a little bit of a pause season, but maybe a 3-year or 5-year goal if God still has me going that direction. Maybe have 300 units, a combination of the rent to own and rentals. And then, I do definitely feel called to do even more things that are bigger than myself and a larger projects, and then even projects that aren't 100% tied to real estate, just that hedge, and then just that interest. And then we also know, you don't have to be a rocket science to know, like, the top wealthiest people are all business owners. And so, just the lives that you can have impact, in real estate and being a business owner. So that's where I feel like I'm supposed to be right now.
So if you get on social media and you happen to stumble across a thread where people are just laying waste to people that own properties and are landlords, and you're hoarding properties, and these could all go to homeowners that want to own stuff, like what's your take on that?
So I would say they don't live in the real world. We need to have housing at all levels. And I had somebody tell me one time, everybody should be a homeowner, or everybody should have the rights to home ownership. And I just think not all the time is owning a home at the right level. And also on the acquisition side, we see that. We see, one of the properties that we purchased, it was a single mom. She said, I should have never been a homeowner. It's just too much for me. I really needed to rent a place that if a maintenance item came up, that somebody
could take care of it, not her.
Yeah, exactly. And then maybe if I was just a single person and just wanted to focus on my job, maybe a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment would be perfect, and I could just focus on my job. The lawn care is taken care of, the snow removal is taken care of, the maintenance items are taken care of, and then you're not taking wealth creation from anybody because maybe they put that investment in their retirement account. So I'm a big proponent that there's not only one way to live life, like there's several ways to do life.
My biggest beef with that whole rhetoric, with people saying you're hoarding wealth and you're taking stuff away, therefore people can't have it, is we're in America. Me making more money doesn't prevent you from making more money. Like, if you want to do this, and if you don't, that's fine. But like, this is how we're able to operate in society. To your point, I've walked so many hoarder houses. I bought houses from people that are completely unable to take care of it on their own, and that live in deplorable conditions. And I would agree with you. Like, not everyone is cut out for home ownership. Period. Full stop. And
or don't want it.
To take it a step further, people will like throw shade at house flippers and be like, "Oh, they're all bad. They all cut corners or whatever." And you're like, who do you think is going to buy a house that is a complete crap hole in a neighborhood? And it's an eyesore. All the neighbors are mad at it. Like, do you think a homeowner is going to come along and buy that, like a regular, Joe and Susie homeowner, and they're going to walk into a $80,000 rehab and be like, "Hey, welcome home, kids."
We're taking the crappiest home in the neighborhood and making it one of the top.
I get it. There's both sides to this,
and we've tried that before. Like, we bought a fixer-upper. Hey, we're going to list it with an agent, put it up there. 40 people looked at it. It takes a lot to build up, like, lending relationships and contracting relationships. And after the 3 months, nobody bought it.
Well, and then you also had that kind of like segment of, society, and I get it. Like, it is what it is, where they are not good at paying bills. They're financially irresponsible. They make decisions that end up biting them in the butt when they need to be, adults. And those are not people that are lendable, right? Like, so if you go to buy a house that, let's face it, it's crazy expensive now. Starter homes are going for, $250,000, $300,000 in our neck of the woods, and it's way different on the coasts, right? So you may have double that. So you buy a starter home for $300,000. Guess what? You got probably a $2,700 a month mortgage payment. Like, people can't afford that, so they have to live somewhere. Somebody's got to provide it. And a lot of people are like, well, the government should provide it. And you know what that means. Guess what? If that's the case, then we're all of a sudden paying more like 40% taxes. And everybody's got to share the wealth in that. And so it's I don't know, there's no easy solution, obviously. Otherwise it would have been solved by now. But it's a tightrope to walk. But you're providing jobs, you're providing work, you're providing housing for people that maybe either can't or don't have the ability to yet. buy a place of their own. Maybe they don't even want to. You have people that are like, you know what? I owned a home for a long time. I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to move into a place where stuff's taken care of.
Yes.
I don't have to worry about maintenance. I can't do all the physical work involved, or I don't know how.
Right.
They don't want to.
Yeah.
So there is definitely a segment for that. And I applaud you for giving all that you're giving. Obviously, you're a man of faith and are latching on to that as a guiding light, which is commendable. But yeah, it's a tough business because we get a spotlight shined on us in the real estate world for like being the bad people that are taking things away from others, where it's like me making more money doesn't prevent you from making more money. You can make as much as you want.
It's
do you want to or not?
Yeah,
that's the question.
It's like my salesperson when he got started. I've got a network of people I know, like, and trust. And he's like, "Wait, you guys just share these real estate deals?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there's more." I mean, when you go down the street, there's a house, there's a house, there's a house.
There's enough for everyone. Yeah, it's scarcity versus, like the scarcity mentality.
Right.
Crabs in a bucket. That's kind of the rhetoric you deal with there. But no, I like that. So if we're zooming out on everything that you're involved in, you're doing, your guiding light, the stuff you're involved in, what do you see yourself? We look back on Darin Zuhlke, 10 years from now, what's life like? You're now my age or 2 years from it. What say you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you're his age, I mean,
let's talk about it. Though.
When you were 39, though, were you at his level?
What level?
120 some units, property management. I mean, I know you didn't have property management, but were you at that level in your real estate career? I don't think you were.
Well, let's see. That was 12 years ago. I mean, I don't know how how are we scoring this?
I'm just saying, were you in that same realm?
I had about 90 units, I think.
Okay.
All mine, and I was just doing my own thing and working a W-2.
Mainly single families at that time, right?
No, not 90.
Oh, okay.
No. I hit about 20, and then it was all multifamily after that.
So you guys were pretty much in the same world, right? About the same time.
Yeah,
we're living like parallel lives here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So now you know what they look.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
what you're gonna look
Yes.
like, but
Unfortunately
what
for
your
you,
business
this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
12 years later, you're going to look like me.
Hey, if I can be 51 and in shape and get impact lives, heck yeah.
Yeah. No,
that's good.
That's a very good. That's a very good response.
Yes.
But what do you think your life's going to look like? So dust settles.
Yep.
I do want to highlight one thing out of this is your grow the business.
Right.
And then eventually you hit a point where that's not the most important thing.
Right.
So
Exactly.
What do you think that will look like for you?
Exactly. So, obviously, I'm still in growth mode, still in my 30s, but 10 years.
You can't say that much longer.
You can't say that much longer. Yeah. So, in 10 years, when I started this business, I just wanted to prove a point that you can be successful and have a very moral compass. And so that's the legacy that I want to live, that you can be successful and be a person of high standards and high morals. And I'm getting more to the point that Tucker and I have talked about, starting a mastermind or something that we can help people out, because now I have miles under my
more than your local RIA group.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you get to a point that, hey, I've learned this. I've put in the work. How can I help others now?
Yeah.
And there's all the time. I spoke at Josh Calbo's meetup, and probably at least 5 of the people that came up to me, they were all newbies, one or less deal. So, if I can help someone get started in investing.
How long have you been running your RIA in your town?
Yeah, I believe 5 years now.
I know you took a break, but how has that changed your life?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the connections, and then just as a business owner, when you're going through tough times, to go to the meetups, and then they just light you up, energize you, and like, hey, I can keep on going.
Because just to be forefront, I know we try to collaborate together in some aspects, but I try to help RIA groups all around the states.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, and yours, in all fairness, yours was already established. I'm not, but these other ones, I was helping from ground up.
Right.
Not one of them are still open. Like, what have you done so differently in your town to make sure that your group's successful, and how has that impacted your members? and yourself in enhancing what you're doing, because every other town's like, oh, I'm too busy, and these people aren't too busy. They're not doing what you're doing. They on the levels that you're doing, but you continue to still do it.
Yes.
Like, why?
Yeah, I think that's a reoccurring theme. I mean, throughout the years, we've seen so many people maybe start and then fall off, and that's okay. I mean, people have other interests and stuff, but I think maybe TV has glamorized, maybe HGTV and these flipping, it's kind of glamorized it, and then people realize once they get into it, oh wait, this is work.
That's hard.
It's hard, like anything else, and they're like, okay, I'm out. And so I think for me, having the community, I don't think I shared this on air, but yeah, we did take a break there for a while because two other guys that were helping me out, they were like, I'm busy. The other guy's like, I'm busy. I was definitely busy. And I'm like, I cannot do this by myself. So we did take a break from the in-person meetup, but we got it going because there was more people that were joining the Facebook group and young people. And they're like, Darin, we really need to get this going. So the people that were originally with us, I mean, some of those people are still in real estate, but now we're getting...
I spoke at your group, and the average age was like in her 60s at that point.
Right, exactly.
It was a very older farmer crew.
Yes, exactly.
And then now it's more youthful.
Yes.
Okay, so the one thing I keep on telling everybody that does a group is if you don't charge for it, then nobody feels committed.
Right.
But also, it takes so much effort and money in a lot of cases to do these events.
Yes.
And in all these towns, these people are like, no, I'm not going to do this meetup and charge money because nobody will come.
Right.
If you don't charge something, then they don't feel. Do you charge? I don't think you do.
We don't charge, but I do believe in that, whether it was the mindset coach or the personal trainer, hey, if those things were just given to me, would I have been as committed? No. Yeah. So I think there is power in charging. I will say that when we restarted, my friend that was really pushing towards it, he goes, can we move to Fridays at noon and then just rotate restaurants in the Norfolk and Columbus area? And then we don't put an obligation to have a speaker. And so I think a combination of those things, and plus there's 3 or 4 guys that we all work together and help out. And so, yeah, I would echo there is power in actually charging for it. There's more commitment there. I think the reason why it's worked to restart it is removing a lot of those barriers that maybe were hindrances before, like you said.
When you're starting a group, you don't need to charge. Like we charge $249 now.
Yeah,
we're still one of the cheapest ones in the country as far as an actual national RIA group.
Yes.
But in regards to your group, if you're in a small town and you're listening to this right now, charging $25,
right,
or whatever you feel comfortable charging, as long as you're charging something,
right,
that's all that matters.
Yes,
you got to put a fee to it. But there's also, I don't know, I could go down this road for an hour, and I'm not going to.
Yep.
But if you ever want to chat about that, and more, or if you're listening to this and you want to start a group and you want to chat about it, not in the Omaha area, I'm happy to talk to you about that. I mean, Owen doesn't charge for his group, and he puts way too much time into it. I can't. He's dedicating hours into his events before he even has events, and I think it's a mistake in some ways because I think he's given too much away for the amount of time he's putting into it. But he has a very successful group, and it fills his bucket, and I know that's his thing, and I'm not going to judge that. But if you want to go down that road, I'm happy to give my advice.
I appreciate it,
and I'm trying to put something together where I can actually provide something out to the community on this, and I love to do some case studies of that. And so, let's chat about that in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ted.
That's what I'm getting to.
Yep.
But we do have a section that we do lovingly call Failing Forward. And
I had no idea what you were saying there.
I know. And what our listeners really want to hear is a failure that you had in your business or personal life that you would never take back because you had a learning lesson that came out of it. Do you have an example in mind?
Yeah. So what I want to share today is the failing forward is being in a relationship too long and being in an unhealthy or toxic relationship. So
is your wife listening to this? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Again, like we talked about, my wife, I'm surprised she married me. She brings me up. So
we've all outkicked our coverage.
Okay.
Yes. So
sorry, please continue.
Yeah. So whether, exactly, a spouse, partner, an employee, whoever it might be, if you get to a point, hey, this is off.
I've never heard that term in towards the employees. I'm actually glad that you brought that up. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're already questioning this is off, this doesn't feel right, this does not line up with me, really listen to that. And so maybe the mistake that I've made in the past is when things that do not align and that's unacceptable to me, staying in that relationship and not being able to get, like, you feel like you're stuck there. And it can be in an abusive relationship, what have you. And so that's the thing that I want to share as the failing forward is there's been relationships that were toxic, were unhealthy, but I stayed in that relationship. And if you want to be specific, had an employee and a maintenance person, they log in for 7 hours. They said they put on kitchen handles for 7 hours.
Wow, that's a big kitchen.
Yeah.
So they were really bad drilling holes.
Yeah. Right. And then thank goodness for my property managers, again, don't do life alone. My property manager's like, hey, there's no way it took 7 hours to put cabinet pulls on. And so they went there to go check on, there's no cabinet pulls on. And so for years, I stayed in that relationship where I should have ended that because that's not right.
Because change was going to be painful, and therefore you delayed it,
Yes.
and then therefore you paid a bigger price at the
Right.
end than you could have if you would have ripped off the Band-Aid.
Yeah, exactly.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Toxic contractor relationships. Because starting over with a
Yes.
contractor
Right.
is a whole thing. I
Yes.
mean, it's a big deal
Yes.
to
Right.
get in bed with another
Yes.
person that you're going to do business with on a regular basis.
Right.
So you finally cut the cord. How did it
Yes.
feel afterwards? Was it scramble mode?
Oh man, so much relief because then already a contractor that we were working with, he did the whole apartment in 7 hours, like remodeled the whole apartment in 7 hours. So what took him a month and he still didn't have it done, the other contractor got it done in one day.
So what was the big learning lesson? What are you going to change?
So right away, if you're already asking that question, and then a good friend and mentor of mine, he said, Darin, will you be asking the same questions of this relationship 3 years from now? And I was like, oh crap, I will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, it's not going to change.
I feel like I've made so many contractor mistakes, and I feel like, in all honesty, that I keep on over trusting.
Yes.
And probably because each one of those contractors had so many good things about them.
Yes.
And they made me so much money, but in the end, I probably lost all the money.
Right.
Because, 3 deals in, 4 deals in, then it happened. And my current guy, which I use, he's probably even listening to this, and Owen's used him before. Like, I've had so many setbacks, but the only difference is he actually will finish it. It just, when will he finish it?
Right.
But, I was referring a contractor, actually it was how Richmond was referring, and I was like, hey, I'm going to refer this guy over to you. I'm going to tell you right now, he's not going to be the cheapest. And he's going to be very opinionated on what he tells you to do and what he does. But in the end, he is actually going to be lead-based certified, and he will get it done. And you know what? You'll probably save money in the long run because he isn't going to screw you and walk off.
Yes. Right.
Which, you got to weigh those. Like,
Right.
It's hard to say, I'm going to take this bid that's going to be 15% more, 20% more.
Right.
But you know what? 3-4 deals later,
Right.
it's still going to be the same amount, and you're not going to, end up with having to hire 3 other people to finish a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is so hard.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah, contractor relationships are tough, man. It's like a marriage all over again. It's kind of
Right.
like Bumble, right, Aiden? Anyway, we have this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for sharing all your journey.
Good.
But we do have one section that we call the OT with Owen and Ted, where we have some questions here. Ted, is this yours or mine? I always forget. This is yours. I feel like it's your baby.
Yeah, I like the fact that we rotate back and forth.
Okay,
It
all right.
makes it fun. But I'm going to do this one because I do feel like this is something that I ask myself all the time, and I'd like to know what yours is.
Yeah.
I feel like each person has a superpower, and sometimes it's not figured out. But the fact that you do have coaching in your life was where I discovered my superpower. What do you feel is the thing that separates you from everybody else, the thing that you provide the world? What is your superpower?
I would say being able to read a room. So, and I don't know if this comes from, I would say that, throughout my life. And so coming into the room and really gauging what the vibes are, or the person's vibes, and being able to, if somebody is in a funk or a weird place, like hopefully being able to then turn the room into, if they're in like a negative place or, a toxic place, to turn them around to, hey, what's really going on? And so I would say reading the room, being a good listener, or being a good friend, I would say that's my superpower. And then
counselor.
Yeah, counselor. And then, I would say consistency and discipline. You got to be extremely consistent and disciplined to be a good steward.
Successful.
Yes, successful.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and then, just delegation, a visionary. And so, contractors, employees have told me, I love working for you, Darin, because you always have something for me. Like, I get to start my day. I don't have to guess what I'm going to be doing. You always have something for me. So,
I could be better at discipline.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes 3 weeks to make a habit. That's the saying, and you got to apply it and be serious about it. But okay, so let's talk bucket list. So you look back, we talked about 10 years in the rearview mirror, but like when it's all said and done, do you have anything in your life, whether it's trips you want to go on, stuff you want to notch off as an accomplishment, climbing Mount Everest? Do you got anything like that's either a personal goal or like a family goal you want to accomplish?
Yeah, it's awesome to see. I do quarterly goals, and a lot of my personal items, it's so cool that I actually achieved those this quarter, and it's so exciting. We actually just bought a new personal residence, and it's so exciting. We came from a condo to an actual house with a pool that we can host there. So on July 3rd, we're going to have family and friends over, and I would say, again, maybe doing a non-directly real estate owned business, because that's definitely something out of my wheelhouse and something bigger than myself that, I could impact a lot of lives. I would say that's something on my bucket list.
Right on.
Yep.
Yeah, I was kind of reflecting, with all the conversation you're having, and one of my close friends, his parents' legacy was they left money back for everybody, but they didn't tell the kids what they're going to do with that money. And luckily, they were able to create such successful children that they were all independently successful.
Oh, great.
But the kids decided to create their parents' legacy and say, hey, with mom and dad's money, we're going to do a family Christmas get-together every year and fly everybody in from all around the country, all 5 kids.
Great.
And then bring everybody together. And then they also do a summer trip now with that money because they're pretty wealthy. So now they'll be able to do that for generations.
Yes.
And they said, this is what we're doing with mom and dad's money.
Yep.
That's the legacy, when bringing everybody together.
Yep.
Some people's legacy is having a bench at a park with their name on it, right?
Yep.
And that's where you go, right?
Yep.
We all have different things that we look.
Does anybody really want that, though?
You know what? We've gone camping the last 2 weekends in a row at Platte State Park.
But I think that's like something a family does for you after the fact, where they're like, hey, we should probably honor grandpa or dad or whatever. Let's just get a park bench.
I
don't think anybody wants a park bench.
You know what?
Somebody sitting their ass on you. That's your legacy.
I would love to have the whole damn park named after me, to be honest with you. But in the end,
I maybe see it as
what's
with the park bench.
What's Zulki's legacy, though? Let me restate that. You and Rachel passed away today.
Yes.
And besides taking care of your kids, which I think that's probably on your category, how would you like your money used to help you guys be remembered and keep the family going on?
Yep. Again, providing employment, being able to give. It's been awesome. I think my last 3 vehicles we've just given away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
To who?
So the one was a gal in need, and the other one was my brother-in-law. And then this last one, it's kind of interesting. I told my friend that he's a pastor, and I was going to give the vehicle to him, but he's like, actually, I want to buy it. And then he's creative finance, and so he's like, and we'll do a seller carry back on the car. And then it's so cool to see. He's like, I didn't realize until I was driving this car how much it's positively impacted me. It's put me in a better mood and made me want to strive for better. And so it's just, yeah.
Darin, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
I don't know anybody that's ever said that.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
I mean, just giving back the way you do.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, just proves that you're a good guy, man.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that, Ted.
Well, it's been a lot of fun, Darin. Thank
Yes.
you. Long time coming.
Yes.
We've been around each other for several years now.
Right.
But is there anything like how do people reach out to you? Anything you're looking for in your business or life right now, where somebody catching this episode might be able to connect the dots for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're always interested in more lending relationships. So, private money lender or community bank, what have you. And then, you can connect with me I'm mainly on Facebook, but all the socials, and it's just Darin Zuhlke. And if you've got a deal or if you need help on anything, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, man, Darin, I knew you're a good guy. You've always had great things, to say about people. You're never negative. You always have a positive outlook in life, and I knew you're a man of faith. But getting to know you better today has really opened my eyes on you and how you give back to the community. It's just really impressive.
Thanks.
And I think people listening to this really kind of have a whole new take on who Darin Zuhlke is and what you do. And I really hope this helps lift you up and grow you even faster.
Well, thank you.
Because you are a good guy, man. And,
Thanks.
And I think you need to put that message out there more of all the stuff you're doing for people, because I think that really is going to impact others that want to become, come into your circle.
Yeah.
So,
And what's the date for the pool party where everybody listening to this can show up?
Yeah, July 3rd.
Okay, all right, they'll be there. They'll just wander around 168th and Pacific until they find your.
Oh, this is
find
our
your
house
place.
in Norfolk. Yeah.
Okay.
road trip. Hey, man, if I could be a support for you on helping you with your RIA group, I would love to help you out more.
Awesome.
I know we've had
Thank
these
you.
discussions in the past, but I just want to reiterate that. But thank you again. And with that, Owen Dashner, can you see us out?
On behalf of Aiden Bear and Ted Kaasch, I'm Owen Dashner. You've been listening to the Kash and Dash Show. And Darin, I'll gladly give you $10,000 on Tuesday for a $5,000 earnest money deposit today. Zulki. Signing off.